some of the strategies that I use to memorize information is what I do is, for example, if my professor is giving, if he's showing me a PowerPoint and he's giving us notes, what I do is I go home and I copy down my notes onto flashcards. So for example, if there's like a vocabulary word, I'll write down the word, and then on the back, I'll write down the definition. And then what I do is I test myself. So as I'm studying, I'm constantly testing myself. And I also highlight words because I think that way you can also retain the information in your head. And those are some of the techniques that I think have really helped me out. I try my best not to cram when I'm studying because I think that then you get like this overload of information and you don't want to, do that. And I think so you should always take like these little breaks. So for example, I'll study for about an hour and then I'll go and I'll take like a little texting break or like a little snack break and then I'll resume to my studying session. So I think it's really important to do that because if you just sit down and just constantly study, you're gonna drain out. So I would recommend not doing that. Well, usually when professors are in class, they'll be like, oh, you might want to write this down, or you might want to take extra notes on this. They give you those little cues, and that's how you know that, okay, I should really pay attention to this part of what is being said. So I think professors always do that. They'll always tell you that this is really important. And I think it's an overall, like, for example, if you read a summary of a chapter, even if you like go look at the textbook, they'll literally put the key points of what's important. So you know that those are things that are very that you might be getting tested on, and that's one of the ways that I kind of can figure it out. Okay, like this is what I need to know. This is what I don't need to know. I'm not saying that it's worked 100% every time because you have some tricky professors that might not necessarily tell you exactly. But it's helped me, like I would say 80% of the time when I've done that. I think another great way to memorize something is keeping a visual of it in your head. Or sometimes I do this sentence technique where if I have a word, I'll just come up with a sentence and I'll remember it. So I think if you do that, and visualizing I think is the best way to study because it's like, okay, if you have a word and you can visualize in your head, you can go back to it. So those kind of techniques really help me out. If I can just close my eyes and picture something, it's great.